Hi, everybody. What's going on? I thought I clicked this button, but apparently I didn't. No, that's not it. There we go. This one? Not this one? I'm a little bit rusty. I don't know. Oh, whatever. I'm just gonna bring Jason on.
That works. I was doing my Zoidberg impression. I was like, woo!
Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. For anybody that doesn't know, have been on a little bit of a sabbatical from doing videos. I just haven't been I just haven't prioritized doing videos. You know, I've been busy doing other things. I've been having fun with the family. It's summertime. You know, you get pulled in a million different directions, and you don't realize until you don't do this every week, or at least in my experience, you know, if you do this every week, it's just sort of part of your week. But what I found was my Sunday was being taken up by a lot of time kind of prepping. It's Saturday night as well, you know, time prepping for the show and getting set up, and then, you know, having to be in a particular place at a particular time. And so I took a little bit of a step back. However, I am, after the past weekend, pretty excited about, you know, doing this again, pretty excited about talking about toys and sort of engaging here again. Because I was at San Diego Comic-Con. It was my first San Diego Comic-Con. It was Jason's first San Diego Comic-Con.
Mine too.
We were there together. I was there effectively because Jason was there. But we'll get to that. But yeah, it was a crazy weekend. It was a ton of fun. And so today we're just going to talk about our first San Diego Comic-Con experience. So for anybody that's sort of tuning in and going, oh, is this a monkey business? It's not. We're not going to talk about Spiro stuff.
Yeah.
We're just going to talk about the fun weekend that we had. And, you know, for anybody that's got, you know, San Diego Comic-Con fatigue, you know, you've seen all the reveals, you've seen all that kind of stuff. I just want to share the experience. I want to share, you know, how the weekend went, like what it's like to be there for the first time, how ridiculous it is to be one of like 150,000 people at a toy convention. Most of the shows, you know, that we do, you know, we're vendors at. We weren't a vendor here. We were just hanging out.
That
Jason
was nice.
did a panel.
This was my first convention ever that I wasn't vending at. we were
Mhm.
working in a capacity, but we weren't vending. And so
Mhm.
that was so cool. And I think I told Adam on several occasions while we were there that yes, we've been to a ton of conventions, but nothing can prepare you for this. I mentioned that the New Orleans Expo Center is the same size as the San Diego Comic Con, but the amount of people there was shocking. I could not get over how many people were jammed into that convention center. It was awesome. It was overwhelming, and it was definitely an experience. I was very surprised.
It was. People kept asking me like, so how's it been? Like even in like in the weekend, when I would meet up with people and they'd be like, yeah, so how's your weekend gone? My answer was overwhelming, incredibly chaotic, but just such an awesome experience. Like it was.
Yeah.
I don't know what to compare it to. Like
Brick.
it's
Yeah, Brick.
it,
The only thing I can compare it to is Disney.
yeah, almost.
That's what it felt like. Not
Yeah,
Disneyland, but Disney World. With just
okay.
there's there's the expectation to see everything, but you know in your heart that's not practical, but you're still gonna try for it. And the
Mhm.
amount of people, you can't fathom it until you're in the thick of it, and you're just like, yeah, this is definitely way more than my personal comfort. Like
Yeah.
this is like you're invading my personal space. There is no bubble. You're like rubbing elbows and shoulders with everyone and bumping and saying, "Excuse me, sorry." You know.
A- And if you're not physically, touching them, your bags are, because that's the other thing. And
Right,
I
for
I, I have
sure.
I have bags that I want to show, because
Yes.
bags are everywhere. The bags are like chaos. The bags were like one of the like funny things of the
Oh my
show as
god.
well. But anyway, let's just quickly say hello to the chat.
Yeah.
Sam Rock is here. Ray Paz, Brick something. I think that's everybody that's sort of been in the chat so far. It
Yep.
seems like there's more people here, but that's who's commenting.
That's just saying
Um,
hi.
but good to have everybody here. Um, and good to be back. I guess I've been away for so long that people forget how to chat, but maybe that's the um Brian Brink is here as well. Good to have you,
Yeah.
Brian. Slow going on the Brian Brink HasLab chart for the Snowcat, but that's for a different video. Somebody's already talked about, oh, it's failed, or like 3 weeks left to go, but whatever. We're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about San Diego Comic-Con. What I've decided to do is basically, since I don't take that many pictures, I don't have that many pictures to go through. So what we're going to do is just essentially go through all my pictures, and I'm going to tell
I
you
should have sent you
guys.
some more of mine. I think I sent you some, but I didn't send you enough. I took a ton of pictures.
You took a lot. You did a video, like you did a walkthrough video where we went in
I
sort of
did.
one door and had to walk like halfway across the floor. Uh,
Yeah,
and it
and I did that before the show opened. So
Oh, that's
everyone that
right.
you see is before the show opened, which I was a little annoyed because I wanted to do the time lapse showing how many people were there. And there was like a good 10 seconds of walking where there was like no one was there. And then it was almost like the tsunami of like people automatically appeared. I was like, okay, here we go. Here's the content we want to
Well,
show off.
I do have that picture of us when like when we did that, when we waited in that,
Yeah,
we figured out there was a different
that
line
was cool.
if you get
Yeah,
there early or whatever. And then
yeah,
we thought we were near the front of the line, and I was like, hold on
right.
a sec. And I went around the corner, and it went as far
Yeah.
around the corner as we thought it was, like behind us.
There was a
Anyway,
guy that cut in front of everyone and made friends with Adam. I was like, he was
yeah.
standing in your way, and I was like, you're in his spot. And then he just like scooched over like just enough for you to get in and then made best friends with you.
Yeah, and then he's like, I'm trying to meet up with my friend. But the friend was like behind us.
Yeah.
In the picture we might have the friend, so maybe I'll point out anyway.
Yeah.
Let's just get right into it, because it was a crazy weekend, and we could probably talk about it for hours and hours and hours. And we'll probably go on tangents and stuff like that. And next week we'll be talking about, Spiro Toys stuff, and we'll be talking
Yeah.
about, Brick was away, we were away, so we're kind of all coming back together next weekend to do that stuff. So this is just about what we did last weekend. So let me just bring this up. I flew out Wednesday night on this plane. This is a picture that I took from the plane that I was on. Actually, it's a video. I'm not going to show you the video. It's not that exciting. It's
Yay.
just a video of the plane. I flew out Wednesday night. I made a terrible mistake. This is my terrible mistake. I will explain this. I flew out Wednesday night, flew to Calgary, Alberta, Canada, and then my connection was Calgary to San Diego Thursday morning. However, when I fly to Atlanta, which is when we go to Toylanta, when we go to Joe Fest, like a bunch of the sort of East Coast shows, you go to Atlanta. The airline, that flight is in the like the domestic terminal, basically. Not even, it's an international terminal, but there's a separate US terminal in Calgary. So you have to go out of security and then through the like US security or something, I don't know. And then through customs, and then you're sort of there waiting for your plane. What I didn't realize is that wasn't the case with this flight. So I sort of followed all these signs to get to my next gate after my connection, knowing that I still had hours and hours and hours, but it was, as I said, it was nighttime. So I flew at about 11 p.m. My time, arrived in Calgary around midnight, went through the airport thing. And then without kind of really cluing in, but as soon as I stepped sort of across the threshold where you're not allowed to turn around and go back, I realized my mistake. So I was then outside security check, and the US security check didn't open until 4 a.m., which was like,
oh no,
4+ hours later.
Man.
And anybody that's traveled enough knows that you don't want to have to sleep or try to sleep on the non sort of security side. The chairs are harder, it's louder, it's brighter. They don't care about you at all on that side. This picture is showing the security wait times. All the security was closed, so there was no wait times. There was nobody there. There was a handful of people in the airport because everything shut down. I did find a little spot to sort of lay my head down, but was not comfortable. But then I did eventually get here, and we'll sort of get to this picture in a minute. But flew out Thursday, met up with Arlen and Chris, who I also invited to jump on with us today. They both said that they'd had enough of us and didn't really want to spend any more time with us, so that's why they're not here today. But they were. So I arrived Thursday morning. Took an Uber to the hotel. Met up with those guys. Dropped off my stuff. Literally dropped off everything. I was like, I'm just gonna, I'm gonna sort of go in and just sort of do the thing and just sort of absorb it all. And so just, with my phone, my wallet, just sort of out the door. And this was, the first picture that I took at Comic-Con. We get to the convention center, and it's massive. It's huge. And I have a picture, a better picture of the whole convention center coming. But they're like, okay, you got to go here to get your badge. But they couldn't go. So once you have a badge, you're not allowed to go back to that area. I don't know why, but that's how it works. So they said, okay, you go get your badge and then come and meet us on the exhibit floor. We'll meet at the Big Bad Toy Store booth. I said, that's fine. That's cool. I'll be able to find it. Because I've been to conventions, is my thinking. Like, how hard
right.
Surprise.
Totally.
So anyway, I go up. I got a professional badge because Jason was doing a panel, and so as a result of that, he sort of got an additional badge that he offered to me. Just to backtrack, actually, Jason messaged me like, what was it, 2 weeks before the convention?
It was really short notice.
And he goes, hey, I'm going to San Diego Comic-Con. Do you want to go? And I think I said, I don't think I don't have the budget for it. I don't know if I can get the time off. I don't think I can go. That was like a Tuesday. And I got home and said to my wife, oh, Jason's going to San Diego Comic-Con. He invited me. I told him it probably wasn't going to work out. And my wife normally isn't like this. But you know, bless her. She didn't say any, she didn't really ask any questions. She said, you should go. And I was like, and I was kind of caught off guard, admittedly. And I was like, are you sure? Like you know, another weekend away, you know, it's summertime, it's busy with the kids and all that kind of stuff. She said, you know, it's you know, it may be a once in a lifetime thing. I know that, you know, this is the big one. This is like the big convention, that this is something that you would love to do. And she said, do you want to go? And I said, absolutely. Of course I want to go. And I think, as soon as she said that, I texted Jason. I was like, is the offer still on the table? Like, I'll book a ticket. So that was
Yeah,
it was
it's
short
it's such a
notice. So that was
fantastic show.
mhm.
Yeah. Yeah, it's the kind of thing where you get there and the networking. I had a feeling the networking potential would be good, but I
Mhm.
found it was way better than I expected,
Mhm.
with that many people there. And some of the takeaways from the show that I got a little bit of amusement out of was everyone there, which you told me were volunteers, and they were all very polite, but they all assumed that this was your third and fourth San Diego Comic Con.
Yeah.
So anytime we had any kind of question, they were like, "Oh yeah, it's just down there. Take two lefts, a right, a left, left, right, and then you can't miss it." And I'm like,
You know where the
"What?"
door
You
for
know, and
room 20 is, right? And we'd be like, no. Like
right, yeah.
we don't know where anything is. Like
And
all
then another
weekend.
fun thing that, yeah, I went there. I was going to purchase one item, and it was the Four Horsemen exclusive figure. Um, I had no idea what a line cap was, and then Adam introduced me to the lotteries, where like
Yeah.
you get you get a QR code, and then you stand in line for the chance to maybe buy an item. And I thought,
Mhm.
man, how amazing would that be if if we could get to the point where people are like hoping for a chance to buy something we produce. So those were all amusing and fun, and
Mhm.
I know Adam wanted that. Well, he'll probably mention it later on, but yeah, those were fun.
It's yeah, it's crazy, it's chaos. As first timers, we didn't know what was going on, so we're like cattle, just getting like corralled around and being told, you know, where to go and where to
We really
stand and where
were.
not to go and
It
where
was,
not to stand. Because that happened a few times too.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
this was like the first thing.
So
So this is
that's where the professionals check in.
yeah. So this is me like going
So what you just
going
showed
up
me
the
where,
escalator or
yeah,
down. But this is where you
yeah,
like
that's the
check in.
professional check in right there. Yeah,
Went up to where you get the check-in. Because I got there on Thursday, most professionals had already checked in. I think with the professional badge by default, you get preview night and then the whole weekend. So most people had gotten their preview night, and I walked. It was, you know, if you've been to Disney and gotten a fast pass, it felt like that. Everybody's like lined up in this big long lineup to get their passes, and I literally,
yeah,
they're like, oh, you know, go through the little barriers or whatever. You know, follow the green tape on the ground. If it was, you know, you had yellow tape if you're getting a normal badge, green tape if you're getting a professional badge. I literally walked straight up to the counter. Like I didn't
right,
even have to wait for anybody.
yeah,
And they go, here's your badge. I think they just needed ID, and like, so it was super quick, super easy, easier than I expected it to be. And they go, oh, okay, and we have bags. Do you want a bag? And I was like, yes, I guess. I mean, I want anything that people are handing out, I'll take. Which was evidenced when I grabbed that Hulu tube that was just a tube.
yeah,
There wasn't even
yeah.
anything in it. But they
I
go,
thought there
oh,
was a
okay, well,
poster
we've
in
got
there.
we've got Tron and something else. I was like, oh, I'll take the Tron. That's cool. So I get this bag. So this is the first of many bags that I got. Actually, here, let me wait.
They showed it to me, and I was like, "That's ridiculous. I don't want it. It's really big." Which is funny because that was like foreshadowing of what's to come.
Oh, I'm trying to make my
You're trying to make the
camera
ratio
bigger
bigger.
so that I can show you.
Yeah,
It's a pretty decent sized bag, but it's
right.
also a backpack. So there's like
Oh,
these
that's
straps
cool.
on it. So then you're walking around Comic Con, and it's wider than I am. So like
Yeah.
this is already bumping into everybody, and I'm like,
Uh,
this is the, you know, this is the experience, right? Like you got the backpack, bag that starts filling up real quick because you put, you know, flyers in there and things that people are handing you, and you know, my program thing is in there, and the whole bit. And it's not comfortable, and it makes weird noise, and it's annoying, but it was fun, and it's like part of the experience. If you go to Comic-Con, get the bag, wear it on your back, because that's, you know, you'll you'll settle in real quick with that. And then I've got one more bag to show when I get there. Again, this is this is when you go up and down the escalators. It's pretty iconic. I mean, the building is really, really cool. It took me a bunch of tries to get a picture that looked as good as the best one that I got. This is outside. So outside is crazy too, because they've shut down the road. There's just thousands of people outside. You know, and this is just a random picture from a random day. This is the big.
I had
we're
a dad moment. I had a dad moment. These girls were standing on the railroad tracks, and I was like, "Get off the railroad tracks, you goofballs! Like, what are you doing? There's trains coming. You have like no survival skills at all."
Right in the center here. So there's this road. So there's a big sort of walk, like sidewalk, I guess is there's a big wide sidewalk, like road lane wide.
It's probably like 3 lane. No, it's probably a 2 lane if you were gonna like riding vehicles on it. It's really wide. The railroad tracks actually, it's either covered up by one of those rails, like the structure, or it's just a little bit blue tint is. They have 2 railroad tracks, I think, from what I can remember now.
So there's like a full-on like freight railroad track right here, and then about 10 feet the other side of that, there's 2 sets of trolley tracks too. San Diego has a trolley.
Yeah.
And so you get caught in between these, and people are like walking on railroad. There's literally trains on the tracks waiting for the San Diego Comic-Con crowd to like get out of their way. It must be like the worst time to be a train driver. The trolleys, I think, like didn't stop. They were like, "We're going. Like, get out of the way." It's full of San Diego Comic-Con folks anyway, so they just like they don't plow through people, but they just keep going. There's a whole bunch of police and security and stuff like that. There's drones. I think there's like rooftop surveillance and stuff too. I saw a couple things set up.
I'd be surprised if there wasn't.
Yeah. So it's controlled chaos, but it's just there's so many people. We'll rip through these really, really fast. This is sort of where I met up.
Wait, go back one. I want to make a joke. See that woman right there? She thought you were taking your picture, like her picture. She's like, she's like, "Oh, they recognized me. I can't believe it." Okay.
That at one point, Arlen was like, "Does anybody ever stop you and say, 'Hey, I watched your show?'" And I said, "No, nobody ever has done that." So it's great. I'm still just anonymous face in the crowd. This is where I met Arlen and Chris. Chris of Arlen from Everything, but most specifically, or sort of most pertinent, Space Zombies from Mars. And then Chris from Grindhouse Toys. So we actually crashed with them. They had a hotel room. We slept on the floor, which is great. It took me back to like my 20s. So this is the Big Bad Toy Store cabinet. They've got Operation Monster Force in there. I think on that side it's just Operation Monster Force,
which is impressive. That's a ton of stuff. Their display was fantastic. I was like, man, they got so much good stuff. You know,
it was just one cabinet, but it really was like just I took pictures basically of what stuff I was interested in. So if you don't see a picture of something that you're interested in, it's because I probably didn't take a picture of it. I probably saw it. I don't remember seeing this guy, this like invisible ninja guy. This was from like Wave 2, but the guy in the white sort of translucent suit looks rad.
He does look really cool. I can't wait to
get that one.
I want him like I want that, but I want it in a white suit, like the thing that they had from Series 1 or Wave 1. Yeah, I mean I like the translucent, but I want it like just a white suit, kind of like a Storm Shadow in business
right.
Or
yeah. Actually, that would be really cool, and I want 2 of those. But I think there's like 13 demons or something like that, and those are 3 of them. So I think we might get one.
So that's that demon that saber. I know Arlen sculpted it. Excuse me, Dan sculpted it, and I did 3 different colors for that thing right there. So I'm hoping they release all 3 versions of it and not just like pick one, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
That is my favorite color of the color schemes that they asked me to do, but I was kind of like,
The
I want
red
to
one.
see all of them. Yeah.
Yeah. Those, yeah. I mean, Operation Monster Force is it's a cool line.
I really
I
like
like
it.
it. I enjoy it.
I got
Um,
everything from wave 1.
mhm.
Whenever wave two's in stock, then I'll get some stuff.
I'm much more excited for the Wave 2 stuff, for more of the monsters and sort of leaning more into
Yeah.
that. Chatsworth, which is coming out, soon enough.
They look so cool.
The women as well, getting some
Yes,
ladies
for
in there,
sure.
I'm very, very excited about. Um, then they had these, which are this is the Whoosh skeleton, but
I
done
missed this.
for Operation Monster Force. This is on the bottom. So this was sort of like a sneaky little one.
I
But I
totally
talked to
missed
Bill
it.
about this before, and so these are the Whoosh skeletons getting repurposed.
They are okay. I thought they looked familiar. Okay. All right.
This was the Tick on vacation with his beach towel and his beach ball and his surfboard,
That's
um,
hilarious.
which I also got my pre-order in for that. Michael Allred's Madman, which
That's
is not a,
badass.
I mean, it's not a comic that I love, but
It's
Allred
older.
is like his style is so cool that I
Yeah.
am very seriously considering picking up this. This I already have on pre-order.
This is very
Um,
exciting. They didn't have the
I
soft goods on them at Joe Fest, so this is cool to see the soft goods on
Yeah,
them.
yeah, I'm excited for what Bill sort of has planned for the rest of the line as well.
For sure.
Naughty or Nice had the Mrs. Claus reveal. So Arlen had just finished sculpting that, printing that. So that was the first time that anybody has seen that, which is pretty cool.
I
I'm
missed
excited.
this too. Was this on a lower shelf?
Yes, second from the bottom.
Yeah. Okay.
But there's
She looks
a better
great.
picture. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that looks great.
And then I can only assume, we're gonna get, a bunch of different variations like we did
Probably, yeah.
um with Santa Claus. Uh just some Gundam stuff. So this is the Gundam universe, which apparently has a new internal frame, which is great because the articulation on these has been fine, but it's not been amazing. But if I had more room and more budget, I would have picked up the Epion and the Wing Zero there. SH Figure Arts doing Super Mario, which I'm kind of
I missed
excited
this.
about.
This is cool.
I mean, there's probably more stuff that we missed than we actually saw.
For sure. Yeah, it's kinda wild.
That's what you realize after sort of walking.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go through all this stuff and then we'll sort of go back and talk more about the show. But there you go. There's like, I think these are new versions. SH Figure Arts has done Mario, but I think these are like more Mario. This is the
Yeah.
One Piece Romance Dawn display, which I was pretty pumped on. Um,
Are those sold at Walmart or is that a different brand?
yeah, they are. I
They
think,
are. I thought
or at
so.
least Monkey D. Luffy has been. And I
Okay.
think you can pick up some of the other stuff there too. These were some of the Daima figures. I don't know if I'm gonna get these or not because I haven't gone in on Daima because the SH figure art stuff just
They're
adds up
so
real quick.
tiny.
This was the Hasbro booth before the reveals, so it's not
Yeah.
as exciting. But there's the Ostriker with the MMS trailer. I think it's called the MMS. I've got both of these on order. So yeah, this is just sort of stuff that we'd seen before that's available on pre-order. I just took pictures of it because why not? Pythona,
He looks
which we
great.
hadn't seen in person before,
Really
which has a
cool.
whole bunch of stuff sculpted by Ross, which is awesome. He did sort of all the critters and creatures and stuff like that. The Snowcat, which I still haven't backed, and I probably won't, to be perfectly honest. It does look amazing, and
It looks awesome. I have
I
no
just
interest in it because it snows here like once every 10 years. So it's kind of like,
yeah. I mean, this display looks great. You
it's
get the
awesome. It's
Snowcat, you get a
cool.
polar bear, you get a
Yeah.
snake armor. But I again, it's a snow thing. The sort of play value to me is not there in the same way that an Ostriker is or a Vamp is or the Claw. I just got
Right.
my claw. I
For
just got
sure.
my claws
Yeah.
delivered today.
Yeah. It's tough.
Um, some of the Masters of the Universe, Masterverse stuff, the new Eternia stuff, which I'm excited about. I have no idea who this
Me,
character is. I have no idea who this character is.
I'm excited about the
I think I know.
2000X figures.
Yeah, I don't know who this is either.
I don't know who
These
that is
figures look
either.
rad. I think this is Faker or Anti-Eternia He-Man.
Yeah,
Anti-Eternia
it's
He-Man.
yeah. The
Mosquitor, which
Mosquitor is
looks
cool.
rad. He has like a different chest plate. There's 2 different chest plates, so he doesn't have the
That's
like
such a
blood
cool idea.
pumping function.
Yeah, I love it.
But it looks really, really cool.
I'm excited about this guy. So
Yeah.
cool. That looks so good in person. Oh man, whenever I saw that, I
Interchangeable
was just like,
eyeballs so
"Yay!"
that you can take
Yeah,
out the ones with the
man.
sort of thing and put the normal eyeballs
Oh,
in.
dude.
Uh,
I hope
there's the
people get more
2000X
excited
stuff.
about the Masterverse line because it is so good. I love it.
It really is, and it. I think for me, I'm only doing the new Eternia stuff. As somebody that's not a big Masters of the Universe guy,
Yeah,
the new Eternia stuff kind of works more for me because I'm not like, oh, I need this
right.
design. Like I'm
Yeah,
keen to get like new, updated,
yeah. That's kind of
concept
where I'm
design and
at
stuff.
too. Except
Mhm.
with the exception of this 2000X stuff, it came out right around the time I was in college and I kind of wanted to design toys at that point, but I didn't know how to do it. So I was just
Mhm.
doing custom painting a lot. And then I just wound up going into graphic design because it was like, oh, you could do this. And I was like, well, this is creative adjacent to what I want to do. So
Mhm.
yeah,
Mhm.
it's got a very
Um.
nostalgic feel for me.
Uh, Justin Mohan said, "Any scary tales from SDCC?" I kind of have one. It's like a super like first world scary tale.
I
But
was gonna
I'll
say
come
this
back
like
to it.
that city is so nerfed out. Like, holy crap. Like, I'm surprised they weren't handing out little like safety elbow knee pads and helmets for everyone. I was just like, what the
Yeah.
hell is going on?
Let's see. I'm just quickly going through the comments here. So we'll come back to some of the comments. I just wanted to get through a bunch of these pictures first, and then we'll just sort of talk about the stuff that we saw and the stuff that we did. Um, and Brick said, Jason, next time don't forget to look down. And Justin
You
says it's
know
just
what?
old releases from Mario. Okay, so I thought they were updated,
Okay. It
but they're
makes
just
sense. They've
reissued.
got the
So
tooling, just release it. It's a
hmm
good figure. We get that tooling reusage, mold
hmm
reusage.
Brick said Masterverse is their shit. It is. They're great.
It really
And they
is
keep
good. I
getting
love it.
better. I think that's the like
Yeah.
the first Moss Man is a great example. So if you have the
Oh
Wave
God.
1 Moss Man
Yeah. So
and you're
bad.
kind of like, it's not
Even the
good
He-Man
news.
was bad. And I have two of them, and
hmm
I was like, okay, I see the potential. I'm gonna stick with it. And like you said, it just gradually got better and better. I still have one more figure, a brand new Eternia figure to review. But whenever I got home, I could tell I was already sick and I wanted to open all my toys. So I just like banged out a bunch of videos of me opening them so that I could, or like videoing, showing them off so that I could just open them and play with them.
hmm
And then I lost my voice for like a day and a half.
The 2000X stuff up top there. I'm admittedly like less interested in that, which is why it just gets one picture. It doesn't get individual pictures for all the figures. But they looked rad. But I certainly, as not a Masters of the Universe fan, don't need another Masters of the Universe line to be buying. This looked really, really cool. I didn't know what it was. I had to ask some of my He-Man fan friends.
That's Castle
But this is
Grayskull.
like yeah, but it's like concept art from like the
I'm
original.
just teasing you.
But
It
the
looks really
playmat looks
good.
really, really cool.
Yeah,
Like
it does.
I think this is a cool piece for people that are like all in on Masters of the Universe. It didn't feel like it was as much as much as it is just a repaint and sort of re-release. I think there's enough here that's like worth the price. Not going to talk about the price of Snake Layer, but then Four Horsemen stuff. So they got the game coming, the D&D sort of 5e based game. which I'm very, very excited about personally. Just got into D&D fairly recently,
We're
and
gonna have to figure out how to play it online, which is gonna be challenging because of my internet.
no, it'll be fine because if you're playing it live, people can like your delay would be not an issue because people will just kind of wait.
Okay.
Like it's not one of those games where like if it's like time sensitive, like answer in the next five
Okay. That's
seconds, like
true.
well,
Yeah.
unless you make it that way,
Right.
um, but yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited to play it and see what some of the mechanics are that are different.
Yeah. And the
I
miniatures
didn't
look great too.
realize the miniatures look great. So I got the exclusive figure. He's sitting on my desk right here. I didn't realize that with the figure, you get these two cards that are character cards, and they have QR
Right.
codes on the back that have links to these character sheets that are here. But the
Yeah.
character sheets are 4 pages long, which is
Damn.
considerably longer than a typical D&D one. So I haven't looked that
Wow.
closely at them. But
I want to build my own character anyway, though. Like I find that more
yeah, you
fun.
can, and I think you will be able to in the same way that you can in D&D. But it'll be cool to like build a figure and then
Yeah.
kind of
Right.
build a character around that.
Yeah, for sure.
There's the figure. I like it better that way, as the cleric.
Yeah.
That's sort of the setup as the
I
paladin.
agree.
This one
Yeah.
to me is just a
Yeah.
little bit more fun. It took me 4 days to get one of
I
these figures because they sold out every day,
yeah.
and they sold out within like 20 minutes, half an hour. Like it was super, super quick. I managed to get there on Saturday, literally as they were opening up the last case that they had for Saturday. And I'll tell this story right now because it's relevant, and we're talking about the Four Horsemen stuff. So I got my figure and the little pin that goes with it, and I was really trying to get one for Terrence because Terrence has been very gracious, and he's been at cons where he's gotten me exclusive stuff and has been very, very helpful with that. But it was one per customer. So I was genuinely debating like whether I was going to keep mine or whether Terrence was going to get mine. And Jason's next to me, and your card wouldn't work. You were buying a figure for somebody else. And you were buying the barbarian for somebody else. And you were like, hey, my card
Hmm.
doesn't work. Can you just pay for it and I'll pay you back? And I was like, yeah, no problem. And I was like, what are you getting? And he's like, oh, I'm just getting the barbarian. And I turned, and it was George. So anybody that knows Four Horsemen knows who George is. And I turn to George and I go, Jason would also like one of the paladins because he had just seen me buy mine. And he was looking
I
at me
was
like, what? And
distracted too. I was
Jason
like,
was
why is
so
my card not
confused.
working?
Jason
And
had
well, I
no
was
idea what was
wondering why
going
the
on.
card wasn't working. And then they said that it was because the card thinks they're in New Jersey, but it's showing them in California. And I was like, okay, whatever. And then we got, then the deal had been done by that time.
Mhm. So Jason's kind of confused, but he's only got the barbarian, but it's one per customer, and Jason's there, so he hasn't gotten his paladin. He hasn't gotten his this figure. And I was like, okay, we're gonna add one of those to Jason's bill, and so I managed to get one for Terrence because Jason wasn't getting one. But everybody was like confused. George though knew what was going on, and George kind of gave me like
Yeah.
I don't think he was 100% into the decision, but he didn't stop it. He didn't put a kibosh on it, so that was okay. This wave looks
Yeah. I mean, I think he
phenomenal.
knew it was for me. I mean, he knew I was trying to pay for it, so he was like, "It's fine. It's not necessarily on you.
Yeah,
It's because your bank thinks there's something weird about this."
yeah.
Anyway,
Seeing these guys in person was awesome. This wave looks phenomenal. I think it's the last weekend
it
of buying them
really
direct from
does.
Four Horsemen. They all look good. There isn't a single figure that would really be a
I think it's
pass.
probably the best. It's the most diverse wave of different figures that I've seen so far.
Hmm.
I got into Mythic Legions after Cosmic Legions, and I
Hmm.
find that this wave is like just so well diverse. Like it's got a monster, it's got two monsters, it's got two small bodies, two humans, and then a mount. I think it's
Hmm.
great.
And then a bunch of accessories. Like you get the
For
barrels and you
sure.
get the food on the plates and the mugs and the accessory set. Like, so this will probably come as no surprise to anybody, but I'm most excited for their giant wolf, werewolf kind of thing.
Yeah, it looks
And then
so good.
the little fox imp, which also
That's
comes
the
with
one I want
another
the most, the
fuzz
little
monk
fox.
head. But I'm getting a couple of these because the gnome, I have to get a
Oh, yeah,
couple of
you're right,
because I want to
yeah.
put that, I want to put a thistlethorn head on the gnome,
That's a good idea. Yeah, for
to have like
sure.
a smaller fuzz monk, because that's
Yes.
in my head canon, the fuzz monks are extra small. So I'm very, very excited for the
Yeah.
imp scale figures. But I'm excited for this whole wave. Very, very excited for the whole wave.
That's so
They had other
cool.
waves
Yeah.
too. There you go. There's like some of the other waves. There's some cosmic stuff on the bottom. I didn't take tons of pictures of the other stuff because I was just taking pictures of this new stuff. Um, right opposite this, I didn't know this was happening because I'm not a Mezco guy, but they had Mezco Nightcrawler. I don't currently own any Mezco stuff. I did intend to buy a Mezco at the convention, but it was already sold out by the time I went to try to buy it.
What time do we have to leave?
But Mezco Nightcrawler might get me. This might be one that I actually go for, and I think
Wait, hold on.
the
I'll
Marvel
be right
ones
back.
are often a little bit easier to get. Yeah, no problem. Yeah, yeah. So we'll see what this release looks like when it comes up, but it's still pending licensor approval. So there's probably a while before we'll actually see this one. And Brick said, just noticed you were in a level of Castle Wolfenstein. He forgot that was his background. It's been that background since the last time we did a video, and his internet was brutal. So it's like a bomb shelter or something like that he found. Yeah, it's supposed to be a fallout shelter. Scott said, worst signs at Comic-Con, sold out. Dude, we'll get to that because I will talk about we're gonna kind of come back around once I get through the pictures to like capped lines, sold out stuff, the portal where you like there was so much that I didn't know because it was a last minute trip. But we'll get there. But yeah, absolutely, like sold out. Yeah, it's a pain in the butt. But anyway, I didn't expect to be there, so I didn't expect to pick up any of this stuff. So all of it was kind of like a bonus, right? Here's another picture of the game, which is actually extra cool because it looks like they're going to offer like a tabletop, map type thing, and I'm curious to see how that looks. A mock-up of the manual there, the miniatures, which are just tiny versions of the figures that they already have, some dice as well. So there you go. You get some skeletons. You got a dwarf. You got, I think that's Lady Averona right there. I was taking pictures really quickly, so I didn't notice, but I think you've got Balaam over here. You've got an orc over here. You've got a couple ogres in the background. I am really excited for this Kickstarter, and it's going to be a Kickstarter, which I think makes sense because it's they have to gauge the interest some way, and to me that's a really good way to gauge interest. Here's another picture of it because like honestly I'm really, really excited about this. You get a troll scale miniature right there. I jokingly was asking somebody if they are 1/12, if the miniatures are 1/12 scaled figures of their 1/12 scaled figures, because I think that would be a funny kind of meta way to like do miniatures of existing figures that you kind of already have. This was a picture that I took for my kids. Feel free to shout in the comments if you know what's going on in this picture. I'm going to quickly just check the chat here. Let's see. How about the Hulk? You getting that one? Mezco Hulk? No, I'm not. Like I said, I'm not a Mezco guy. Justin said, do you feel like Comic-Con is worth it? I'll star that one. We'll come back around to that. Let's see. Legion's Con and G-Con will move the world story with the start of the next story arc proper. Legion's Con's coming up. That's kind of that's where they do all their reveals. I don't think Four Horsemen is going to use San Diego for like big reveals. I think that if they do it again, and it kind of sounds like they would like to, I think it'll be like this again. I think they'll just do, an exclusive figure and, some other kind of rant. They had a bunch of stuff. So they had the Barbarian, they had the Ninian Infantry, and then they had I think they had whatever the last wave that's been released, but they didn't have a ton of stuff. Christopher Bouchard says, I like Spiro and Savage more than Mythic. That is perfectly fine. That's great for me as somebody that works for Spiro, and I'm sure Jason would be very excited to hear that. God says, I learned about the lines on the fly, messed up and had to apologize a few times. Me too. I was like standing at a table. I was going to try to buy something, and they're like, you can't buy something. And I was like, what? Anyway, we'll come back to that. How did you end up going to San Diego Comic-Con if it was not planned? Justin, you joined late, obviously. Jason was invited to do a panel, and he invited me to go along kind of as his +1. So neither of us had planned to go.
It's good. I found it.
Good.
Mr. Ryan Clark's here as well, popping in to say hi. Sorry, I missed this. That's fair. I haven't been around, so I get people miss stuff. Justin said they said they're going on Kickstarter because tabletop games have success on Kickstarter. Absolutely. Yeah. And I think it's a great platform for it.
It makes good sense.
Mm-hmm.
People need to understand that, Kickstarter is a fantastic way to prove that something's interesting, and it's a great way to get publicity. Hasbro has its own infrastructure. They do Haspulse. It's essentially a Kickstarter, so.
Mm-hmm. Okay, you're back. I went through a few photos. I was catching up on some of the chat. What this picture is one that was of virtually zero interest to me, but people were hyped on this. I only know 2 of the people that are sitting at this table. So this is the Mattel sort of booth, had this table where they would do their own little panels, and they did Masters of the Universe stuff. They did some She-Ra stuff. They did some Monster High stuff. This is WWE. So these folks at this table, I couldn't tell you who they are apart from Jey Uso and CM Punk on the end. I sent this picture to my 9-year-old, and she was like so excited. She was like, why do you get more pictures? And I was like, I didn't realize what was happening. So where I'm standing taking this picture, to get to where they are, they basically walked right past me and sort of around and then into the table. But I didn't know what was happening till it was too late. So I couldn't get my phone out to take a picture when they were like standing right next to me. That would have really blown her mind. But anyway, yeah, they're wrestlers. I didn't stick around to sort of listen to what they said or anything like that. This was another picture for my kids. Giant Pokeball above the giant Pokemon booth. As much as we're toy guys, there were so many booths for things that I didn't know anything about or really care about that were crazy impressive. And there's literally booths that feel like they're about a city block big. Like they're just massive booths in some cases. Here is a picture of the floor. This is on Thursday afternoon, which is not the busiest. I saw the floor. All these pictures are from Thursday, which will be relevant in a moment when I tell my scary SDCC story. This was LegoCon within San Diego Comic-Con. Yeah. This was a huge, floor imprint. So if you haven't seen videos of this thing, I apologize. I don't have any, so I can't share them with you. I only took this picture of it. On the other side of this picture, on the other side of like this thing. So this is meant to be the San Diego Comic-Con Convention Center. Here's the walkway up front and the road. There's the trolley. They didn't include the train, which makes sense. They did include the trolley. On the back side of this is like a minifigure scaled model of the floor. Packed full of minifigures, packed full of booths, like packed full of Easter eggs. It is wild. It was crazy, crazy, crazy cool. My wife says, I
Amanda's
have an
got a
important
question.
question for you, Adam. Can I interrupt for a second? Yes. Does she mean come into my office? She can do that if she needs to. I'm not sure what it is, but she can't text me because I use my phone as the thing. But yeah, hold on. Let me mute myself.
Yeah, so this section was huge, and I must have saw like the corner of it because I didn't see it at all. Like I didn't see any of this until just seeing these images. So yeah, it was
Okay.
wild.
So here's a point about San Diego Comic-Con that like can't be, it can't be understated because this whole convention is so crazy. This was like 2 booths over from the Big Bad Toy Store booth. And we were around the Big Bad Toy Store booth the whole weekend. Like that was our center point. That was where we would meet. When we would separate, we'd meet back up. So the fact that you didn't see this is like a
Yeah,
testament to like how much crazy stuff there is to see.
right. And
The Masters of the
so
Universe stuff is right next to this, which
yeah, and
we were in that booth
we went to
together. So
that
you
quite a
were.
lot.
Mhm.
I think the Gundam booth was in between this and the where the Big Bad Toy Store booth was, and that
No,
booth
this is in
literally
between
went.
those two.
Yeah, it went from the floor all the way to the ceiling.
The
Um,
Gundam one. I
yeah,
think I have
so it
that one.
totally just blocked. It literally blocked this out. There was like a total obstruction. You could not see it unless you walked around it, which is why I only saw a little bit. Oh, Golden Girls, cool.
I wanted to
This
get
was
this
a
for
great
Amanda.
booth,
She
by the
said,
way.
"Don't buy that." She likes Golden Girls, but she said they didn't look enough like the Golden Girls. This was some of the Jada stuff, which we've seen. We hadn't seen the front of Akuma before. The figure looks amazing.
It really
Again,
does.
this was Thursday, so it didn't have the new stuff, the alpha stuff. These were the exclusives, which I didn't buy because I realized in the end all I really wanted was the Dulcim head and the Yoga Flame, and I didn't need the player 2 color version. So
See, I
if
thought
they
you were going to
showed,
say the guy that was on fire. That's
I do want that.
accessory of the year. So cool.
I do
I
want
love it.
that, but it didn't justify buying the
I
figure
get it.
again.
I want an articulated version of that.
Yeah. Well, and then I realized I have 2 versions of the Human Torch. So I do have a
Yeah, that's
figure
true.
on
That's a
fire.
good call. Yeah, that's a
So
good
I was like, I'll
call.
put him on a flight stand, and it's basically the
For
same
sure.
thing.
Makes
Geeky
sense.
Tikis, which I love. I think these are so much fun. Tiki mugs in the shape of like Disney and Star Wars characters. Took a ton of pictures of these for Amanda to show her. There's a better version of that picture. This is the outside of the convention center with a bunch of tents. I don't even know what happens in those tents. I never asked. We didn't
I
sort
think
of
it's a
go there.
logistical thing.
I think
I think it's
so.
where the shows run out of.
This is
Like not
just a
yeah,
wider view,
not the
but
main part of
oh,
the
that's
show,
my
but like getting people in and out.
That's my Cold Slither ticket confirmation. This is Cold Slither. Cold Slither was Thursday night. It was packed. It was fun. It was at a bar called Brick by Brick, which is like, it's not run
An
by
homage
Brick.
to
It's
Brick
not
something.
associated with Brick in any way.
Right,
Um,
sure.
and
Oh, they're for the hall, the line hall. Okay.
oh, that's crazy.
That makes
Yeah, we
sense
didn't
because
go
like
anywhere near Hall H either because we
yeah,
didn't
that's
plan
the
it.
main show everyone wants to get in there unless you just
Yeah.
went there for toys like Adam and I.
Oh, this is cool. I didn't know this.
Huh.
Bricks in that Lego thing was a crowd build. People could make their own little
Oh,
booths and add to
what?
the show floor. That's wild.
Wow. That's cool.
Um, but very, very cool. Tents are the line for Hall H. You had to get a different wristband. You had to like get it days ahead of time. You had to line up for hours for Hall H. I was like, I don't have time for that. So I
I
didn't do it at
accidentally
all.
got into a line for Dexter's paneling, and I was just like, I'm waiting in line to I just want to get to the show floor and buy some toys. And they were like, this is for the Dexter panel. And I was like, good to know that. Like,
Yeah,
okay.
exactly.
There was like a
Um,
puff of smoke in my shape, like when as soon as they were like, this is not the toy line. And I was
yeah.
like,
That
say
was
less.
my it took me like a day to get used to like the fact that lineups aren't close to what they're for a lot of the time. Like they're just
Yeah.
kind of in random spots almost. But anyway,
Right.
Brick by Brick was great. Full on metal bar. Everything in there's like painted black. There was like skulls painted on the wall and stuff. There was like 4 tables in the whole place. You couldn't sit. The other funny thing was that before Cold Slither played, you could walk pretty much right up to the bar and get a drink, super easy. But if you wanted Cold Slither merch, you had to wait for like an hour in the
Oh
lineup.
God.
So it was totally like a Joe fan kind of nerd thing where like it was so different from like a normal show. But the show was awesome. It was so much fun. Awesome energy. You know, the band was like in fine form, you know, with the accents. They had I think I have a picture of it somewhere. I'm not going to play the videos of it. You could see videos. They did an encore with Britta Phillips, who is Jem, the you know, the voice of Jem. But you can't see it, but on top of their amps, on top of they had these little TV screens and stuff, but on top they had chocolate donuts and grape sodas. So they were like totally on brand. And then at the end of the show, you know, you had Torch throwing out donuts into the audience, which was super gross and weird. But
that's a good way to get the con crud.
Yeah, exactly. But it was a blast, man. It was so much fun. There you go. There's the chocolate donuts and grape soda. At the end of the show, there was only one left. There's a few other sodas over there, but oh, there he is throwing out the donuts. There's the donut tossing at the end. And then I didn't get a picture of it, but there was a guy. They did a drawing for a signed copy of the LP, and it was won by a guy called George, and everybody was chanting George, 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 and George went up on stage to get his prize. And when George went up on stage, we realized a fun fact that George was wearing a Wild Stallions t-shirt. So George was winning an LP from a fake band, wearing the t-shirt of another fake band. It was like just the weirdest, most surreal kind of nerd moment, probably especially for George. But anyway, there's a better picture of the convention center because this was Friday morning. But yeah, it's just crowds, chaos, giant posters. This is me, Chris, and Arlen waiting in the line outside because we didn't realize that with a professional badge, you don't have to wait outside. So we waited outside, and it didn't take long to get in, but it was hot out there, really hot out there. This is us once we're in. This was at the G.I. Joe brand panel. I took a picture only of this because I thought it was funny. And despite this, everybody that asked question asked personal requests. So during the Q&A, it says, you know, line up in an orderly fashion. Do not run. Do not make personal requests. Not everyone in the line will be able to ask their question. Please ask only one question. Almost every one of the questions was a personal request. It was like, can you make this? Will you make this? This is my favorite. But it was just funny that they had to say that, you know, beforehand. The brand panel was cool. Here's more geeky tikis as I got requests for more pictures.
He likes those geeky tikis.
They're cool, man. We have a little tiki bar in a shed next to our pool. So they were sort of on brand. These were some of the reveals after the brand panel.
Box, and it felt like it was empty. I was like, what is in this? Like, it was like,
oh, the geeky tikis. Yeah.
It was big.
A lot of foam in there. A lot of foam in there. But they got home safe, so that's what's important. These I'm not going to go over. This was maybe the highlight of all the reveals. I'm so excited for this one. Bunch of
that's a fun figure.
Kind of zombie adjacent stuff that I'm very, very excited about. Although this was pretty cool too. A giant articulated scorpion that goes with Desert Scorpion.
For sure.
Wetsuit looks fantastic. Like, Wetsuit was one of my favorites. This 2-pack looks great. More Scorpion pictures. Galactus, which is like a probably 12-foot tall cosplay. A Squishmallows thing that was just there. a giant Stitch that was across the street, a TARDIS functioning, not TARDIS,
Didac, a
Dalek,
dialect,
Dalek.
dialect, and it was talking. Yeah, it was funny.
Yeah, so the guy who's operating this is standing just far enough away, and the crowd's kind of busy enough that you don't really notice him almost. And he's like speaking through like a voice modulator, and so the Dalek's speaking to people, and the arms are going up and down, and it's kind of moving side to side. And this is just on the sidewalk out front, like all day, every day. There's just stuff happening everywhere. This guy had other stuff. He had like a R2D2, and what else did he have? He had another droid or robot type thing, because I remembered seeing him a few times with his little RC controller thing and his little headset. This was us in a line to get on the sales floor. This line goes all the way to the back of the frame.
That's wild.
We thought we were towards the front of the line because they get you into kind of these little clusters, and there was sort of one cluster in front of us, and I was like, I don't think this is the front of the line. I went around the corner and saw a line basically this long around the corner as well.
Yeah, it wrapped around.
Call back to the guy that cut in front of us. This was his friend here. This is the guy that he's like.
What friend look like? Hold on. Oh wait. Oh, way back there. Okay.
This guy back here was his buddy. But I went to check out the line, and when I came back, there was just somebody standing where I'm standing in this picture, and I was like, I mean, it's cool. Like, we were at kind of the front of our little section, so I could just stand next to him or whatever. But I was like,
yeah,
where did you come from? What's going on here? George loves Hot Wheels Mario Kart. Not George that won the prize, my son George. So I took some Mario Kart car pictures, took a video of like the whole thing. Back to New Eternia Mossman. I couldn't get a picture on Thursday because it was too busy. Right in front of us. Somebody was doing a video or whatever. This Mossman looks amazing.
Challenging to take photos because everyone is either looking and or wanting to take photos for themselves. Another thing is, like, I mean, I'm super ADHD, obviously, and I was the person that had somewhere to go probably 50% of the time. So I was like trying not to get aggravated, but I was like, listen, I'm telling myself, I'm like talking to myself, like, I'm like, people want to stop and look, and like, you can't be getting aggravated, you know? But yeah.
Brick said, are you guys deprogrammed? They actually had a video that was like the sort of that subliminal message thing from the cartoon. It was great. Gatey's Toys said, partied with Samantha Newark after GemCon, and that cast is wild. I'll take your word for it. We didn't party with them after, so no opening act. It was just Cold Slither, and then they played with Gem for the encore.
It's pretty cool.
Did you see the Mr. Beast figure sculpted by Four Horsemen? Yes, we did. I didn't take any pictures. I know that Jason did.
I did, yeah.
They look cool. I just can't get over that it's a Mr. Beast toy line, and it's kind of weird to me.
I think I've got a couple of them. They're fun, but they're like, there's no, it's from what I can understand, there's no like mythos. It's just all Mr. Beast character. Like, it's all the Mr. Beast toy. Like, there's no villain or hero or anything. It's just kind of like, it's almost like just a mascot, essentially, you know, mascot, and that's it.
Scott said, is that a fridge lanyard? Yes, it is. They were giving them out at the G.I. Joe brand panel. So people for the rest of the weekend were asking me, like, where'd you get that? And I said, well, they were giving them out for free, but you didn't get one. Allison Troy said, Mr. Beast is the villain.
Yeah. I was bummed out because I wanted one of they had these glow in the dark, what was it, Crunchyroll badges, and I was like, where'd you get that? And they're like, there's a bar somewhere that you had to go to get it, and I was like, damn it, I want that. I don't want to have to like go back to this place to try to find it.
Remember when we went at that back staircase on Saturday?
Yeah.
So if you looked across the bay, there was that weird amphitheater thing.
Okay.
Crunchyroll did a huge concert, like music concert
Oh,
in
wow. Okay.
there, and that was your pass to get in.
Oh man,
It
that's
was like
cool.
a glow wristband.
Yeah, that's cool.
It was
I
crazy, and
definitely wanted one.
Jason
I
was
didn't
like
care about
asking
the Crunchyroll.
people
I
for
just
the
wanted the
wristband.
glow in the dark thing.
um, and Brick said, "This guy's rad. I love seeing Moss Man like a Sasquatch. Me too.
It looks really
I
cool.
I think this is the Moss Man that I wanted, and I'm glad that I didn't get that previous version, the Netflix version. Was it a
Yeah.
Netflix version? I think
Yeah. It's cool, but
this
it
one's
just
better.
yeah, it's yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Anyway, I love Gundam Wing, so I thought I took way more Gundam Wing pictures of the booth and all that kind of stuff. But this was intriguing to me because these costumes aren't
That was
from
the
the.
exit. That
This is
wasn't even
outside. Yeah,
yeah, this is outside of the hall, yeah.
I took this picture to remind myself to scan that QR code, and I don't think I still haven't.
Good, now's the time.
Yeah,
Not
this
now,
was a
not now, don't
picture
do it now.
of I just wanted to show the banners that are on buildings. So this is like what like 10-story banner. I'm talking specifically about this
Yeah, it
Demon
was so
Slayer
wild.
banner. They're like 10
Yeah, it was
stories tall
crazy.
and almost as wide. And like
It's
tons of buildings have
from
them.
it.
There's a Abbott Elementary
Yeah.
School one, there's a Dexter one, there was a Rookie one. There was ones for like video games that I never even heard of. Like, and we were trying to like think of like how much are people paying to put that banner, on the side
My
of a
guess was like
hotel or whatever.
30,000 or more, maybe
Yeah.
50,000 just
Like
for
the
like that weekend.
economy of San Diego Comic-Con
Yeah. Wild.
is crazy. Yeah, here's some more pictures. This is outside. That's the sidewalk that I'm talking about. It's like you're probably right. It's probably like two sort of car lanes wide. Um
Yeah.
I took pictures of a couple furries because that's a weird
Yeah, well, I asked him to because
subculture
my
that
little girl likes all the anthropomorphic Zootopia
Mhm.
stuff, you know?
There was one just sitting
There
on the
was a
curb,
cat
just like checking their phone, and I was
who
like,
just
"That's just
yep,
weird."
just
And
like
then
sitting
she
there
noticed.
fighting off heat stroke.
Yeah, exactly. Bunch of Dragon Ball guys dressed up. I quickly snapped a picture. We were just walking past. I don't even know where we were going. This is the backside of the show. There was a whole like pier with like a carnival type thing. That was ABC had put this on.
Yeah.
That's the amphitheater back there that Crunchyroll used to do the concert. And there was people like all the way up here, like for this concert. Um, this is the back staircase, which I didn't even know existed until we kind of stumbled upon it after we went the wrong way.
Yeah,
These are
that
my
well,
fish
we found it
tacos.
because we went to eat, I think.
We
Yeah.
had a great lunch. This is us at lunch. Um, right by the boats, staring at the yachts, acting rich and fancy. Monster
Yeah.
High.
This was a great booth.
Yeah, the Mattel booth, like front to back, was like really good. There was good displays, like cool stuff. What I really liked about their displays specifically, I say good displays and then don't explain it, is that each brand had its own identity. So like this had,
For sure.
backgrounds and like different stuff, and they were giving away pins, and I never got one, and I really wanted to get my 6-year-old a pin for Monster High because she loves Monster High, but yeah, maybe next year. Yeah, and then the Masters of the Universe stuff looked different. Then they had Hot Wheels, and then they had their WWE section. So there was like photo opportunities, which I didn't take a picture of, but like you could stand inside like the plastic clamshell kind of case and take your picture. These are the Street Fighter Alpha figures from Jada Toys. Meh, they look great, but Alpha, I don't think I've ever played Alpha, so I don't need a new version of Ryu because the
Is
Street Fighter
this is the
2
same toy
version,
company doing the other ones, right?
yes, but they're
Okay.
they're doing
Yeah.
another
Just a different
iteration of the
sequel or
game.
whatever. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think they look cool. I haven't gotten any of them, so
Well,
I don't
you
know.
could get the Alpha ones. You could start with
That's
the
what I
Alpha
was kind
ones.
of thinking. I like those designs.
This is another one of the booths that I don't even know what Tokidoki is or does or makes, but
This
the
was
booth
across
was
from the
huge.
Mattel Jurassic Park booth.
and it was beautiful, and like
Yeah.
just the art is so much fun and it's vibrant. You can see the DC booth sort of next to it there. Um, this is a video
Oh
of
yeah, we
Galactus.
recorded this. I forgot.
I'm actually gonna play this one because this was wild. This guy was just walking around all day. You'll see security getting people out of the way, and then his herald. So that guy in that hat, that with the horns, would just walk in front of him the whole time, day after day. Galactus probably walked past me half a dozen times over the course of the weekend, and I finally got a video like on Saturday afternoon. I was
I will.
finally like took the time to like actually take a video of it. This was just again for my
Oh
kids.
yeah,
This is, this is the pretty much the only picture I posted on Instagram of me at the
yeah.
convention because I just forgot to take pictures with every person that I met up with. Like I have like one picture with you. Oh, this one
This
I'll play
guy.
too. This actually, I'm gonna play this with sound,
Yeah.
because and see if you can guess why I'm playing it with sound.
Is the sound going?
Oh, maybe you can't hear the sound.
This,
But
I see the
anyway,
sound on.
well, it's on here, but I don't know. Oh, actually, I can change. Oh, sorry. Let me see. How do I? Wait, wait. I know it's in here somewhere. But I'm not gonna find it in time. Anyway, the two reasons I was playing the sound was because this guy was doing this for hours and hours and hours in the lobby, just outside of the exhibit hall. No music.
Yep.
So like nothing to like inspire him in any way.
Yep.
Just the noise, the ambient noise of people. And then at
We
the
saw him going
end,
in and saw him going out.
yeah. And then at the end, there's your voice. It goes, "Do it, lady."
That's what I was gonna say. So I'll narrate in my head a lot, but sometimes I'll narrate out loud as well. And I think I said something when whenever Galactus was walking by, I said something like bow to your god or something. I was like, did I say that out loud? I don't know.
Yeah, just chaos. It's just chaos
In the best way. In the best way
yeah,
possible.
for like what is it, 10 hours a day for like 5 days. It's just total chaos. Oh, this I got on my way out.
I missed
Um,
this. That's
Indiana
hilarious.
Jones with the like rock. I thought it was gonna be
That's
better,
funny.
but I was like, whatever.
She should have laid down.
That's what I thought too. It was awkward.
What an
Uh,
idiot.
there's the best one. That was the one where I finally was able to sort of like frame
Yeah.
it properly.
Yeah.
Here's the back. Just a beautiful day, beautiful weather, beautiful weekend all around. This is Jason on a panel, which is crazy, crazy cool.
It was really cool.
You got
Super excited to do that.
Vonner, Adam from
Gentle Giant
Undead. Yeah, from Gentle Giant, but from
and the Cursed Dead.
Cursed Dead. I always want to call it Undead something.
Patrick from Icon Heroes.
Yeah.
Wade
Wade from
from
Unparalleled Universe, who
Unparalleled
did
Universe.
Odious. And then Esteban Cifuentes of Fist, who put the panel together and put the panel on. Great panel. Good conversations. It might be on the internet. They don't let you shoot video, like they don't
It
let
is.
people set up a
I didn't know
camera
you
and
didn't
just like
have. I
shoot
thought I
it.
shared the link with you.
Oh,
People in
I'll
the
share it in
audience
the.
recorded it, so the audio is
Mhm.
not the best.
This
So
is Jason when he's not talking.
yeah, I'm just kind of thinking like, don't say anything stupid, you idiot. They
It's
kept
like more
saying I was
pictures of
squinting, and I was like, I am so tired.
so
I think I
tired.
had done
Exactly.
18,000 steps that day, and I was just like, my eyes were so heavy. I was just kind of like, stay awake, stay awake, stay awake.
This is my picture at the airport as I was leaving of a plunderling with a
Great
crab.
photo.
Yeah, that was and that was the end. I think that's it.
Yay!
So before I go to the next one, I've got to make sure that. Yeah, that was it. Then I just took pictures of planes. There was a Pokemon plane and a weird
That's
stripy
fun.
plane that I didn't know where it was from. But anyway, that's what I got. That's those are my pictures.
You know what? I think we forgot to take pictures of our ramen bowls. I was shocked that you guys like
100%
cleaned
we
your
did.
plate. I was just like, how did you eat that? Like y'all all ate, and I felt guilty. I was like, I'll take it to go.
Yeah, I ate your leftovers too.
Yeah, and then I got the pudding that had like the texture like bacon grease when it's dry, like when it cools off. I was just like, ugh, oh
Which
no.
I ate
It was
that
tasted
too.
good, but the ramen was amazing. I just wasn't
It was.
a fan of the dessert.
It was. So yeah, okay, so that's all my pictures. Now let's backtrack. Now we can just sort of talk about funny stuff or like funny stories. Um Justin Mohan, any scary tales from San Diego Comic-Con? Yes. My scary tale
Huh?
was on Thursday when I arrived. On the plane, I meant to charge my phone because a lot of planes, you can plug your phone in, whatever. So I thought I would be able to charge my phone. My little USB plug on the plane didn't work. So I couldn't charge my phone. So I had about
That
40%
sucked.
battery. It did suck. But wait, it gets worse. Then sort of got to the hotel, like I said, dropped everything and just went to the convention with my phone and my wallet. Thinking I wasn't gonna, I just wanted to like soak it all in and kind of just, appreciate being there and sort of appreciate the moment. But as soon as I got there, I started snapping pictures of everything. Then very soon, my phone was like, "Hey, you're in low battery," and I was like, "Oh." I had separated from Arlen and Chris at that point, and I realized that like I didn't know how to like. We didn't make a plan to meet up or anything like that. Like I knew where the Big Bad Toy Store booth was, and I knew that there would be people there that I could like connect with them or whatever. But then my phone actually died. I had no phone. So I was like I said, first world problem, like totally like weird. But I was like, what do I do? What do I do without a phone in San
It's
Diego?
2003 again.
Yeah, yeah, it was crazy. I knew how to get to the hotel, but I didn't have a hotel key. I knew the concert was at a particular time, but if I couldn't get in touch with them, I didn't know if they were going to go from the con to the show or if they were going to go. So I was like kind of panicking. And so what I decided to do in my moment of panic was like, you know what? Now's a good time to go and wait in the Hasbro line to buy my exclusives. I was like, I can't go anywhere. I can't do anything. I may as well wait in one of these lines. Now, this, gets back to another fun thing that we learned at San Diego Comic-Con. Capped lines. There's
Oh
only
yeah.
so much space. So when lines get too long, there's a volunteer. That's what sucks. Some volunteer's job is to tell people that they can't line up anymore. They're not allowed to buy stuff.
Yeah.
And people like get mad
They
at
take it
them
out on
and
them.
like shout at them, and they're like, "But I've
Yeah.
been trying to get in this line." And he's like, "Dude, I get told when I'm allowed more people in the line." So I kind of timed it well, and I had walked by like 5 or 6 times, and it still capped, but it was different people. So clearly somebody was doing it right, and I was doing it wrong. And so I was like, I'm just gonna like bully my way in, and I managed to sort of get in the line. And I'm standing next to this guy, and he's got his phone out. He's been playing Pokemon, so clearly he's not worried about his battery. And he's
Mm.
got a cord out of the bottom of his battery or out of the bottom of his phone that goes into his pocket. And I was like, "Hey, excuse me, weird question and possible request. Is that phone connected to a battery? And can I borrow your battery to charge my phone? It's totally dead. I don't I don't know what to do." He's like, "Yeah, no problem." He pulls it out of his pocket, hands it to me. I plug it in. It took like 5 minutes to even get my phone to turn back on. Which was enough. I sort of instantly sent a message to Arlen. I was like, "Hey, my phone is dead. I just, I can send one message. I'll meet you guys at the Big Bad Toy Store booth, soon." But didn't know how long it was going to be. But then the guy was super nice, and so the whole time we were waiting in line, and then we were, we made it. That's outside the booth. Then we made it inside the booth, and I kept trying to give it back to him. He's like, "No, hold on to it, hold on to it. You'll be fine. We're not going anywhere." And I was like, "Okay, cool." I think I got like 20%, 25% charge, so that the guy, saved my life. I found out later, and by later I mean like Saturday late afternoon, that there's like an area to charge your phone out in the lobby.
Yeah,
So I
but you
could have
didn't
just
have the
gone out
cord, did
there.
you?
What's that?
Did you have the cord though?
Well, okay, here's the other thing. I travel with one of those little rechargeable
Oh
battery
yeah, the
things,
little teal
but I
thing.
left it
Yeah.
in my backpack because I was like, I got
Ah,
40%. It'll be fine. I'm not taking
yeah.
pictures, but I broke all the rules that I had set for myself and kind of screwed myself over. So that it was all on me. My scary story was all because I'm an idiot. Um,
Rookie.
and Scott said, worst sign at Comic Con sold out. So that was going back to that and the lines. So the portal, if you have a pass to San Diego Comic Con, a week or two before, you're meant to like go and like sign up in
Adam,
this
I'm gonna be
thing.
right back. 5
Yeah.
minutes.
You're meant to like go and sign up in this thing and like submit your interest in like the exclusives that you want. And then you get like an email that will say, okay, come at this time, or you get an email that's like, here's a QR code, so that you're like allowed to line up to buy something. I didn't know anything about this, and the portal was sort of like right when I booked going, and so I didn't have the wherewithal or sort of the focus to like get that done. So I didn't submit anything to the portal, which is why I completely missed out on the Mattel Creations T-Rex with the little guy. I'm over it now, but that was the one that I missed. Everything else that I wanted, I pretty much got. The For anybody that's curious or interested, the Mezco that I missed wasn't the con exclusive stuff. They had a small amount of the Junkyard Joe, and I was potentially going to pick that up. It somebody on Instagram said they have Junkyard Joe at the booth while supplies last. It's $100, and I was like, for $100, I'll buy it. Turns out at the booth it was 130, so I wasn't that upset that I missed out on it. I got cool stuff, so but yeah, every day that T-Rex said come back tomorrow, and every day I went back, and by the time and so but I couldn't line up because I didn't have a QR code. So it was like insult to injury, right? You're there early enough that you could physically get in line, but you don't have the QR code to be allowed to be in the line, so you wouldn't be allowed to buy anything anyway. Typically, later in the afternoon, so after about 4 o'clock, most of the booths open up, and if you don't have your code or you don't have whatever, they'll open up. But by then, a lot of the like stuff that's available on the day is already gone, so you miss it. Yeah, so that's sold out. Come back tomorrow. Sold out for the day. Sold out for the show. That's the real bummer one. When you get somewhere that you want to get something and it's like sold out for the show. At least you know not to come back. The Mattel Creation one, that Dino, I went back every day. It was disappointed every day. Scott says Portal Lottery sucks. I never won anything. Yeah, I mean it's a bummer because like you could be there and you could like do everything right and still not be able to buy some of this stuff. So it's kind of funny when people are like, oh, I didn't get the convention exclusive, and I'm super angry that like somebody would like this as an example, right? The Paladin, the Four Horsemen Paladin, that's going for like 200 plus. I think it was up to about $300 on like eBay, and people are like mad about that, or like, how dare they, you got to fly there. You got to wait in line. You got to hope that you can get one. Like there's all this stuff that is sort of like, man, if you got one of those, charge whatever you want. Like it's a lot of work to get stuff. It's a lot of work. Even if you don't get the lottery, you still got to wait in a line, and you got to like wait for 45 minutes or an hour sometimes just to go and like buy a figure. I had to wait. Like I said, I waited for my Cold Slither pack, and I bought some other Hasbro stuff for some other people. I got really lucky with SH Figure Arts. I managed to like walk right up when they opened it up to general. I walked right up, bought the item that I wanted, which was the Meisho movie realization Mandalorian and Grogu, which is rad. This figure's so awesome. And those were kind of the two things that I wanted. Everything else was like a bonus. Grabbed a couple other random things. Posted my haul on Instagram for anybody that's interested. A couple Cold Slither t-shirts. I got this. Somebody was asking about this. So Arlen was gifted these for being on a panel with the fine folks from Wandering Planet Toys. And so this is a Headless One's Safubi. So this is from an old Golden Age comic book. These were villains that these were the villains in the Space Smith comic book. This is my first and only Safubi, but it's rad, and I'm very, very excited about that. And thanks to Arlen for generously gifting that to me. So yeah, that was sort of the convention. What other stories did I have? What other things was I going to talk about? Do you guys have any questions? Anybody that's been got a question? Anybody that hasn't been got a question? Brian Brink, of course you bring battery packs. But that's because you're smarter than we are. And says always loaning them out to folks. You're loaning them out to us dum-dums who don't think of this stuff. Yeah, absolutely. Scott said, if you go back again, make sure you hit up preview night. It's typically easiest to get exclusives that night. Yes, and I've now sort of found that out. I've learned. So on preview night, they have sort of a 3 or 4 hour window where I think it's pretty much like only professionals and press badges, and then a few people that get the full weekend badge are allowed in. And I think somebody said it's 15,000 people. And for the weekend, I think they estimate it's about 150,000 badges. So it's like 10%. So the lineups aren't as bad. I think on preview night, they don't have like the lottery thing. So you can basically go to all the booths. It's still limited quantities, but you have better access. I didn't go on preview night because I went last minute. I had access on preview night, but because we didn't get there, because I didn't get there till Thursday, I missed it. But that was a function of, I could only take Thursday and Friday off of work. And so I would have loved to do preview night too. And I think if we go back again, I'll be sure to sort of know.
Well, we've got our professional tag numbers or whatever, so we can go back earlier next year.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you told your funny story. I had one funny story.
I got more, but you tell yours. Yeah.
It wasn't as funny when I was there, but it was definitely funny afterwards. So Arlen and Chris were nice enough to let us camp out in their room, and we slept on the floor.
I hope you're telling the story that you were.
Yeah, and I thought, Uber Eats offers service to Target, so I'm just going to have a sleeping bag delivered. And so we got there, and I had my sleeping bag and everything. And I was like, sweet, I'm all set. I'm good. I like to sleep on the floor regardless. So I was like, good, I got a sleeping bag. I'm all set. And I like unroll it, and I'm like, man, it seems like it's really small. And I apparently ordered a kid size.
I think
so
Arlen said like that's a really
sleeping bag that went up to my chest, and I was just like, oh god. So the next night I had to ask for a blanket and sheets, but
Jason had a whole nest of like pillows and blankets and sleeping bag. Cheaper. Yeah,
I thought it was because of the color. I was like, I don't care about the color.
Yeah, and Arlen was like, oh, that's like really like vibrant. And Jason's like, yeah, I picked it. It was cheaper than the other ones. And then he pulls it out, and it's like 4 feet long.
Yeah,
like,
it was cute. Yep.
It says right on the thing, like children's sleeping bag, and we're like, oh,
I was like, what is going on here? But it worked out. It was funny. It did what it needed to do.
The whole weekend was kind of like a whole roller coaster of like, we want to do a thing that isn't happening, so this random thing happened instead. Like, and you have to just kind of roll with it and just sort of like enjoy it. I went on Friday. I met up with with a bunch of folks. I met up with Toy Father, No Chewing, Yimbo, Nico, T Bullet. I'm forgetting people. Machu was there, like a bunch of people, and we went and saw Fantastic Four at the AMC Theater in Fashion Valley or something, like it's wherever it was. I assumed when they said, hey, we're going to go to Fantastic Four, I assumed there was a theater like downtown San Diego. It turned out to be like way back near where the hotel is, which wasn't a big deal because I was meant to meet up with Jason at 4:30. The movie's at like 2:30. I thought it'd be done around 4:30. Jason would Uber to the hotel. I'd kind of get to the hotel around the same time, and we'd get settled in. I'm sitting in the movie. It's about 3:30, Jason messages and says, "Hey, I'm at the airport. Like, where do I go? What do I do?" And I didn't reply because I'm in a movie. But the other guys were like, "I thought you were coming at 4:30. Like, what? Adam's in a movie. He can't. He was gonna meet you at the hotel. Like, you ended up just going straight to the convention. You just had
Yeah,
like
I
a
went
book
straight
bag. You
there.
just had one bag. So
Yeah, and we were all like, we messaged each other a lot before the show,
mm-hmm.
and everyone was trying to figure out when we were flying in. And I told them when I was flying in, and I said that, I was a little concerned that they were telling me my flight time was going to be based on Central Time, uh, which would obviously not translate to West Coast. And sure
to
enough,
landing in San Diego at the
yeah.
ocean.
So like, sure enough, I landed an hour earlier than what they said I would, and I was like, I don't
Right.
care. You were in the movie, and I was like, I honestly can't wait to get there and
Mm-hmm.
get my badge and stuff. And I decided when I was there, I had on the way there, I started watching the Landman series on my phone, and I was like, I think I want to learn Spanish. And then I got there, and a lot of the people giving directions were like, English obviously wasn't their first language, and they were
Mm-hmm.
telling me stuff that I thought was weird. I was like, where do I need to go? And they were like, go up the escalator, just don't walk. And I was just like, how do I get to the escalator if I don't walk onto it? And then I realized halfway up the elevator, because it was the professional check-in, it was an empty elevator. And I was like, I'm going to walk up because I'm excited. And then I was like, oh, they're saying don't walk while you're on the elevator. The escalator. Just let the escalator take you up.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and it made sense the next day because the escalators were just absolutely packed and they didn't want them to break.
Yeah,
But I was
one
just kind of
person
like,
per step. Don't
yeah,
walk up the escalator. And
right.
when you're on an escalator and it's not busy, you're like, this doesn't like that's what escalators are for. That's how they work everywhere in the world. But then when you're on one like first thing in the morning when it's all loaded with people, you're like, oh,
Yeah.
this is a lot of people. And these are long escalators, a lot of them. So yeah, it totally made sense.
Yeah.
There was a lot of rules that you had to learn that weren't like intuitive.
It's funny. It very much reminded me of learning new skill-based software where the tutorial assumes that you're not at level 0. They
Right.
have
Yes.
some familiarity with the software, and
Mm-hmm.
so they skip the first 3 steps of the software, and you're like, I don't understand what's going on here,
Yeah.
which
A
was
lot of
amusing, but it was just kind of the part of it, the experience, I guess.
all of the maps, apart from like one that I can remember, just showed you a map, but there was no you are here. It was like, here's the
Yeah.
map. Like you can look where you want to go, but you don't even know where you are. So you have to figure
Yeah.
out where you are, then you can figure out how to get there. But also things
Yeah.
aren't labeled like within the convention center, they're fine.
Yeah.
It took us forever to find a panel that we wanted to go to that was at the hotel that was next door. Then you had to go up an escalator, then you had to go down a set of stairs, then you had to not go up an escalator and go like to the left kind of thing, and then walk all the way around this thing. And the numbers didn't quite make
That's
sense,
the
but
that's the thing that was amusing was in order to like control the crowds and make sure that the bottlenecks didn't get too bad. Where you start the line is essentially where you go in, but you'd have to go all the way around the hall
mm-hmm.
in order to. I'm sure it was like a safety thing, like a fire code
Yeah,
thing,
yeah.
and also with them doing that, the floor was so congested that it was borderline. Am I enjoying myself right now? Like once you got to your destination, people were pretty good about like
Yeah,
they
yeah, yeah,
wouldn't
yeah.
loiter too long. It was like
Mhm.
you've got 30 seconds to move through this section, and then let's make room for other people. Unless it's like some sort of film crew where they're like a YouTube reviewer or something
Mhm.
like that, which they would,
Mhm.
they need a little bit more time to talk through what the products are. But
Mhm.
if you're there yourself, you're like, here's a photo. Let me look. I'll take a photo with my phone, and then you need to move out of the way for someone else. And us talking about the bottom shelf of the BBTS booth.
Mhm.
What I was doing was I was trying to look. I was trying to experience it with my eyes and like just had the phone off to the side taking photos instead of vice versa. Like I was physically there. I didn't want to experience it through my phone camera, in other words.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
I was kind of taking photos and not necessarily looking at what I was taking photos of. Um, but
Yeah, and
yeah,
it's
it was so crowded. Like I am not comfortable with that many people like bumping into me and just being that close. So I was kind of like, I'm looking at this and then I'm like, oh yeah, that person's like, they want to see too, and just kind
Mhm.
of getting shuffled along and just
We
being patient and being a good sport about it.
as a group, you know, all the people that we kind of hung out with over the course of the weekend, we're all very like uh I mean, I don't really know how else to say it. Like, we're all really like nice and
Yeah,
like we're, you know, as a Canadian, I'm apologizing for stuff all the time, but you guys kind of fit that kind of mold almost. And so we're like
yeah,
discussing a figure, and it'll be like Arlen and I are at the SH thing, and like we're talking about the joint, and we're talking about, you know, how did they do this, and like how cool it is that like how they've sculpted the hair or whatever. And and so we're like right up at the booth doing this thing, right? And there will be somebody with like a phone or a camera, and they're like, they just start hovering,
yeah,
and you're like, "Do you want to get in here to get a photo? Like, what?
yeah. We'll move.
You're like, we can get out of your way, but like, you're kind of creeping us out here right now because they're
Yeah,
like everybody's trying to get right in there and do their thing.
yeah,
And there was people that like I don't know who they are, or like what they do. Maybe they're like big. Maybe they got a big website where everybody goes to get
right.
their pictures of toys, but you'd get
Yeah,
like side eye from people, and it's just like, dude, we're all here together. Like like
right.
if you're not
I,
getting, you know, if you're at the Jada booth and June's not opening the cabinet to show you, I'm not gonna get out of your way. You're not any different than
right.
I am. Like it was so
Yeah, and
weird.
I
Like
try to
some
just
people
treat.
feel like they're like entitled to like get right in there or
Yeah,
whatever.
I just try to treat everyone like they're famous and just give them the benefit of the doubt and be like super polite and nice. And uh, I found that most people were like really nice and accommodating.
Yeah, yeah,
I'm
yeah,
not
yeah.
gonna lie, like I tend to walk through people. So like if I would bump them or I just it's nothing like I'm not trying to be mean. I just tend to just like walk fast and like bump into people. I'm so sorry.
Oh,
Like you
that
should
reminds me. I
you don't know
forgot.
me, but you should have probably moved because I'm just gonna walk and bump into you. Even if you're bigger than me, I'll bounce off of you type of thing.
I showed my first bag, but I didn't show my second bag. You know the bag that I'm going to show. You
Oh
got
my
one of these too.
god. I
So
was shocked. Like,
Hasbro wasn't the
Jesus.
only booth that did this because I saw other bags of this
Yeah.
grandeur, and it's not going to fit on camera. So you'll
You're
have to sort of try to imagine how big
gonna
this
have to
is.
pan. Just pan up with
I
it.
can't. I tried to. Oh wait, I think that functionality is back. It wasn't when I was sharing screen, but it's back now. Um, Here we go. This might be big enough. This might be wide enough to
Oh wow,
show
yeah, yeah. There
the
you go.
Hasbro bag
Look
that
at
you
it.
get. So when you
I
buy
carried that thing around for hours and I wanted
when
to
you
throw it
buy
away, and Adam like
and that's what
folded it up for me
that's
so
what
that
I'm
I
gonna
could
say.
have it because it's a cool item. Like I like it a lot,
It's
but you didn't go
huge.
straight back to the hotel after. We like went and did stuff, and I was just like, I feel like I'm carrying around a parachute, you know?
And keep in mind that there's people walking around with that other bag on their back as a backpack, and then
Yeah.
this ginormous thing full of
That's a
like
3 foot by 3 foot bag. It's huge.
huge. It's huge. It's massive. It's the biggest reusable bag I've ever seen. It like if you have like the IKEA bags, you know the IKEA shopping bags, it's bigger than that one. It's bigger than the IKEA one. It's
I've heard about
ridiculous.
I've heard about the strategy at these trade shows where like if your bag is the biggest bag, everyone's gonna put all their other stuff in that bag, and you will be the walking advertisement. And I feel like Hasbro won in that aspect. It was just comically big. What I got at that booth was the
Do you
little
have the box?
two-pack
Yeah, that's what I was gonna
ninja
ask.
box, and they
I
put
don't
it in
have
there,
that,
and it
but
was like,
it was basically this big. Like it was a
yeah,
GI Joe
it
two
was.
pack. It's like
I
this
was just
big,
like,
and then you
I
had it.
can't even make an analogy for what it was.
Hold on,
It was
hold
like
on.
putting a gift card in like a big box, you know? I was like, what is this? This is crazy.
Let me do this again to show. So Jason's got this ginormous bag, and he's got like this tiny little thing that sits
Yeah.
on.
It was I I
But
think
that's
I'm
the
gonna
bag you got.
cosplay with that next year. I'm just gonna have that. I'm just gonna be walking around in that. Like I'm just gonna put it over my head. I'm just gonna have like my arms and legs
Bonkers.
outside of it, just walking around in it.
It's crazy, but it is true that like with the bag that big, what you end up doing is putting the smaller bags in the bigger bag. And I will say I got some cool bags. I mean, I got this, I also got my moose bag.
Yeah, I got the teal one. Well,
I
my
got
little girl got it.
my Bandai bag. I got other
Red
stuff.
had a
But, like,
question.
I was excited to
So
get that stuff.
so we saw the Invincible line in person. I thought all the figures looked good except for Conquest. It looked like someone blew up a balloon and tried to sculpt his likeness on like it looked like they started with a sphere instead of a rectangle. And I should probably go back and watch the cartoon because I know there's definitely differences between the comic and the cartoon. It was the only one that I thought needed some revisions. I think hopefully they can dial it in a little bit more. But it looks cool. Like I'm probably going to get the other figures. If he looks like that when it's out, I might pass on it. But again, I'm on the fence.
Scott asked, did you get to the Super 7 pop-up? Kind of. And Jason says, I believe we did, but I'll have to check. That was the one where we walked there on our way to dinner, but it was closed.
That's what it was. Yeah. See, I was getting it mixed up with Joe Fest. The Joe Fest booth, the Super 7 booth at Joe Fest, and we watched a panel with Brian on it. So I knew I saw him and was like, man, I don't remember passing by or anything. And yeah, it was closed whenever we went.
We tried to get there. In the end, I didn't actually go to the Super 7 pop-up because what I found out from somebody else is that they had taken like everything out of the store except for the exclusives and like the Godzilla stuff that they were doing. So I actually wanted to pick up some other like normal Super 7 stuff, but they didn't have it. So I didn't bother going to the pop-up because it wasn't a pop-up. The Super 7 pop-up was the Super 7 store repurposed as the Godzilla train station.
I bet you I know why they did that. I bet you they customized their register to where the only SKUs on it were like the exclusive. So they didn't have, because they've got a huge catalog of stuff and they'd be like scrolling and scrolling. And it's like you scroll 3 times and it's like
so much faster.
Every customer, that's a nightmare. Like we've got 27 plus SKUs. And like whenever we check out someone, if it's across 3 waves, you know it adds like 2 minutes to their checkout, and then there's a queue, and it's like, oh my god! So times 10 for their stuff,
And we'll start wrapping things up here. I feel like there's stuff that we're missing, but we'll be back next week too, so we can talk about more stuff if we think about it next week. But anyway, Brick, who is live now, which is why we'll wrap up so people can go jump onto Brick Something's news, says, let's talk about what's inside the box.
What's in the box?
If you're not following sort of Jason's new little thing that he's doing.
Yeah.
Go check that out. Justin Mohan said, do you feel like Comic-Con is worth it? It just yes or no, Jason. Do you think Comic-Con is worth it? Would you go?
Absolutely.
Let me rephrase it. Would you go again?
I'm planning on going next year. Like we went through the steps to set up a professional badge. The panels were fun. I enjoyed everything about it, even waiting in line because we got to talk. There was no real downside to it. Like, is there things that I want to do differently next time? Like, I kind of want to book an Airbnb like ASAP, find out who all's going and just book the rooms and be like, okay, we got that taken care of. And like you said, possibly get there on the Wednesday it will be. But I thought it was great, so I would definitely go.
Yeah. I mean, I would echo exactly what you said. And it's sort of all the things that you said. It's crazy. It's chaotic in the moment. You're kind of overwhelmed, but it's so worth it because it's so much fun and you get to see so many people. Spiro does a bunch of shows on the East Coast, but there's not as many shows on the West Coast. There's a whole lot of people that kind of, I think, especially like within the sphere of like toy makers and kind of people that we know and associate with in that respect and sort of in that capacity, that use San Diego Comic-Con as like a meetup. So like we're going for meals
Right.
with folks to kind of talk about like potential projects and stuff like that. It's not just about buying the exclusives or like seeing the panels. So it's awesome for us.
Yeah.
And I
On a professional level, it's fantastic. We
Mhm,
met a bunch of really great people. Uh, I was friends with Toy Shiz. I've been friends with him since he had 6,000 followers,
mhm,
and we never got to meet in person. We finally got to meet in person.
mhm,
It was great. Like, there's just it's such a great show. I'm really looking forward to doing more panels next year.
mhm,
I again like I'll sleep on the floor quite a lot at home. I just enjoy sleeping on the floor. So having a bed as an option is cool, but I don't necessarily need it. I
yeah,
would
I was
just like a
fine.
bigger
Yeah.
space. Like we kind of joked about like the hotel room was like the European vacation size, like very small. But again, we
Yeah.
weren't doing anything other than sleeping there and like maybe
Mhm,
unboxing a couple toys.
mhm,
But we talked to Carlos and George, and they had an Airbnb, so we were like, "Oh, this
mhm.
sounds interesting."
Yeah, and is it worth it? Well, it was a positive enough experience that we're already kind of planning for next year.
Right.
So I guess that
Yeah,
kind of answers the question without answering the question.
for sure.
Um, Red Five says, "My wife says you have a nice bedroom setup. I showed her
That's
one of
my
your
Yeah, that's my
videos."
office. I just have a day bed in there for nap time.
And then one more, and then we'll wrap it up. Justin Mohan asked, "Are you still working on Space Zombies from Mars?" Yes. What I will say is that we're sort of keeping a lot of stuff close to the chest right now, but because Arlen and I don't get to be in the same place at the same time much. Actually, technically, this is only like the second time we'd ever been, physically in the same space. We talked a lot about what's coming from the Nameless Toy Company, and we've got a lot of ideas uh, that I'm not going to talk about. So stay tuned.
Yeah.
But we're definitely doing stuff, and we've definitely got plans. Um, so
Can we
stay
say that I'm
tuned.
helping?
Yeah, of course. Why not? Yeah,
I'm
I
helping.
mean, and that's part of it, right? Is that like, we're networking, we're sort of getting more people sort of involved and sort of connecting people and getting insight and all that kind of stuff from people. And but yeah, we're still going to do Space Zombies from Mars, but we're doing more than just what we sort of have shown so far. There's a couple other sort of projects connected to it that we want to do. And as I said, stay tuned. Follow Nameless Toy Company on Instagram. That's kind of the first place where we post pictures and stuff like that. Or tune in here when I do videos, which I think I'm probably going to get back to doing more regularly. So, yeah. Um, we had a blast at San Diego Comic-Con. We're excited to do it again. We have, nearly 2 hours of talking about it, but I feel like we could talk
Mm.
about it for hours and hours more. But we won't. What we will say is thank you guys for coming and hanging out and listen to us, prattle on about how much fun we had
It
at
was
a
great. It
place
was
where
so
most
fun.
of you weren't. But
Now I get why people like post their like I'm at Comic Con badge. I used to always post the I'm not at Comic Con badge.
so speaking of Comic-Con badges, you forgot this.
What? That's mine? Dang it! I'm so glad you got that. I didn't even
It was on
realize
the
I forgot
floor
it.
after you left. So Jason
Just
left super early in the morning on Sunday, and I was like, "Uh-oh, he's gonna
I was
regret
so
not
worried
having
about
this."
stepping on your hand or accidentally kicking you in the face or something that I was just like, I got my bag and my phone. I'm good. Yeah, just bring it to Legion's Con. I'll get.
I
I'm so
will. I
glad you picked
will.
that up for me.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. It's been fun. We will talk to you guys all again very, very soon. As I said, we're going to be doing Monkey Business next weekend. So if you came here for Spiro Talk and you're leaving disappointed, come back next week for all sort of the latest news on all things Spiro, Animal Warriors of the Kingdom. We probably have some Bushido stuff that we can share. Maybe I'll even talk about some space zombie stuff a little bit more.
Yeah, for sure.
But for now, bye-bye.
Bye. Bye.
Living and loving and driving fast cars, whether I'm here or I'm on Mars. I'm gonna die young, baby, that I know. I'll leave a beautiful memory when I go. Well, I woke up this morning feeling pretty damn tired. I was up all night at a moonlight fire. There was beer, whiskey, a